Anybody there? Is it live? Oh, it's live. Okay. Right, huge excitement, like beyond excitement. Sometimes when you're running a little business, a small business in the middle of nowhere, you know, it can go steady, it can go, you know, pretty average for a bit, and then there is the day that comes that is beyond exciting. And I can tell you now, Rob and I, hi Rob, can you speak?
I can, yeah.
Excellent. Are here today to reveal something over exciting. So, back in 2012, we had a lovely wormery. We were called Wiggly Wigglers because we started worm composting in the UK. The only other person who was worm composting in the UK when we started wasn't there. We sent him his first wormery. That's how exciting it was. And in 2012, we had to stop selling the wormery. We promised you that we would never bring you another wormery until it was the world's best working wormery. So the quest has continued for the past 5 years. We've looked at building one, we've looked at designing one, we've looked at importing one to no avail. Why would we want a wormery? Because worms are the fastest natural composters in the world. They make the best compost in the world. They're really, really hygienic. They produce 2 products out of your waste. So you put your kitchen waste in, they produce a friable worm cast, which is fantastic for your plants. They produce a liquid feed. They divert waste out of the world into something useful. They're fantastic. Did you know that? Are you there? Is anyone there? Anyone looking at me?
There's 3 people.
Oh, hi! So today we've got the absolute launch of the new Wiggly Wigglers Urbalive worm composting kit. Are you ready?
It's like a minute to 12.
I'm too early, I'm too early. Once we've got this going, you will be able to pre-order. And for those of you that are as excited as we are, the pre-order means you will save, I don't know, lots of money, but you will also be the first people on the planet to get this kit. Well, you may have got a kit if you live in Prague, but I doubt it. A few have already been sold in Czechoslovakia, but this is the UK launch of the Urbalive Wiggly Wigglers worm composting kit. And it comes complete, so you've got lime mix to keep everything sweet, and you've got worm treat to make sure the worms are working at their optimum level. You've got tons of worms in your kit to get it going. You've got a bedding block so that you can mortar it and get everything going and get it moving quickly. And the best thing of all is you've got a system that allows you to harvest the compost without disturbing the worms. And those of you that already know about worms know worms like to do it in the dark. They like to not have their burrows too disturbed, and they like a regular supply of waste, and that's why they're so good for kitchen waste. So are we ready for the reveal of the Urbalive Wiggly Wigglers worm composter? Are we ready, Rob?
Go for it.
Okay,
yeah.
Here we go. So, here we are. Here is a Welsh blanket. Beautiful. We're a bit rural out here. Here it is. Isn't that lovely? This is the stone version with another tray that goes on top of the Urbalive worm composter from Wiggly Wigglers. I think it is the most delicious design. Okay, you might not get excited about a wormery design, but I can assure you that for me, this one's a cracker. So you see it's got holes in the lid, but not so that the water goes in. You can see how beautifully designed it is, and best of all, the worms work their way up through the kit, and that means you can harvest the compost from the bottom. And for those of you that think that stone is a little reserved, it's a little gentle on your colour palette, wait till you see this one. Because this one, excuse me, dear viewer, is lime green. So I love this one, I love this one, I'm having this one. But if you want a lime green one, if you've got a funky house and you want it coordinating and looking amazing and a good talking point, and the point is that the dustbin man is not going to take this one away. We have had worms taking it out of a dustbin because you mistook your wormery for a dustbin. There's no way Mr. Refuse Collector can think of this as anything other than a beautifully designed worm composting kit. So if you've got any questions, just put them in the comments below and Rob will feed those to me. But other than that, just look at it. I love it. So in the bottom, you've got a sump with a tap underneath that you can let all the liquid feed out with. And with your liquid feed, it's percolated through the worm casts. So they call it worm tea. But basically 1 part liquid, 10 parts water, and you'll never need any Miracle Grow for life. You start your worms off in the bottom working tray with some bedding, which is the bedding block, plenty of worms. Actually, I'm just going to open the worms so we can have a worm shot, Rob, is that okay? One moment, hang on. Just going to get a scissors. Scissors. Oops. Never mind, no scissors, never mind. We can do it with a knife. It's not going to cut me off. Here we go. Because you need lots of worms, and of course they are Wiggly Wigglers composting worms. So just like 27 years ago when I first had the worms on my kitchen table, 27 years later, here we are again. So they'll wiggle their way and they eat half their own body weight in waste a day and produce compost at that rate. So they go in the bottom tray, you add your waste gradually, they work their way up and they leave the compost in the bottom tray. So you can swap over trays once you're ready to harvest. So the great thing about this is, excuse me, you've got a complete ecosystem. So it just carries on. So the other day I was at the dentist and there was a lady there that had had a kit for over 10 years and was waxing lyrical about it. So this isn't about buying something to make it last for a year or two. This is about altering the way you think of your waste. So instead of producing your tea bags and your cauliflower peel and your potato peelings and imagining it going to landfill, you'll be able to pop it outside, reducing all those waste miles, put it in your wormery and look at it as something to be valued. Because once your worms get hold of it and process it, you will have a really good compost. The other thing I love about it is you don't get too much. So you're not overrun with compost because they reduce the volume by 8 times. So about 8 binfuls of waste will go in this bin to make 1 bin full of worm casts. You get a really rich product. So you don't have to spend your life carting the stuff around, wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow. It's a question of harvesting the tray, which even somebody who's 5 foot tall can do easily, popping it out, and you can use it as a top dressing or in the bottom of your trenches for planting out. It's a great fertiliser. So this is an ongoing kit that will work for many years. So is it available, Robert?
Almost.
It's just going to go live online. Now we're starting to dispatch these kits for Christmas. Or, well, just before Christmas. So if you've got a dad, a granddad who would love a wormery, or a mum or an aunt, this is the time to order because the kit's £149.95 altogether with everything that you need. So the lime mix, the worm treat, the worms. But when you pre-order, you save 20 quid. So it's £129.95. So get on with it, girls and boys, because I think you're going to love it. And we all love it here. And we look forward to enjoying having a wormery back at Wiggly Wigglers for all time to come, hopefully. Robert said to me, when I said to him we're not going to be selling wormeries, he said, Wiggly Wigglers without a wormery is like a supermarket without milk. So the milk is back. We're excited. If you need any help or any advice, you can phone us 01981 500 391. But if you need more information, there are a squillion trillion videos. There are a billion blog posts coming up, and they're all ready for you to read everything you can about this worm composting kit. But I can tell you, in my view, and I've seen a lot of worms in my time, this beats anything we've ever had, and this is the best designed wormery on the planet. That's a claim, isn't it? It's my opinion, but it's true. On the planet. Have I finished, Rob?
Luke's got a question.
Oh, okay. What's the question, Luke?
It says, how much are they and when can I get one?
Oh, Luke, what a great question. So they're normally $149.95, and you can get them from www.wigglywigglers.co.uk. But we've got a pre-order special. So as we design all the instructions and get those printed, we're ready to go from the 5th of November. So if you order before the 5th of November, dispatch will be after that date in that week. And if you do that, you'll save 20 quid. So it's $129.95 for the whole thing. And it's, as I said, it's not an investment for, it's not a fad. This is an ongoing kit. So this isn't your bread maker that you'll might make a few loaves for Christmas and then forget about it. This is live. So you've got a commitment to your worms, haven't you? So, look after them and they will look after you. Anything else, Rob?
How long do the worms live for? Do they breed or do you have to keep replacing them?
No, great. Who's asked that?
Bryony.
Thank you, Bryony. So the worms, you can tell a healthy kit because you'll have adult worms and you'll have baby worms. Let me find you a tiny worm. So when worms are born, they're white, and within a few days they turn red. These are a mixture of composting worms, Icenia andra and Dendrobina veneta. We don't need to worry about that. There are 2,000 types of worms in the world and 27 in the UK. But basically, we've chosen your worms to be the fastest composters. So they will breed in your kit. And the reason that it's such a good kit is because there's plenty of surface area. Worms like surface area, and they like to be able to move to fresh waste. They lay eggs then, but the eggs only hatch out when there is space. So once your worms have moved on to the next bit of waste that you're adding on a daily or weekly basis, then the eggs hatch out. So you'll have the full ecosystem in here. They will be born, they will lay an egg, they will live, they will die. It takes about 3 months for them to mature. So if you've got a healthy kit, you'll have all ages of worms, and we supply them at all ages when we start with the kit. And you've got about 500 grams to start with, and they will breed up in your kit and eat a considerable amount of waste. So thanks, Bryony. It's an ongoing process. You don't need to buy more worms unless something terrible happens to them, which it could, I suppose. So, but we've had kits in Shetland where it's really cold. Putting the kit somewhere sheltered in winter is a good idea, just in case it gets really cold, because they do slow down. So I'm going to put mine in the garage rather than the kitchen. I mean, we have got people with them in the kitchen, but it's not for me. But if you've got somewhere like garage or a shed or a greenhouse, that would be brilliant, that you can keep your kit in. That will keep it going in the winter. And then a great time to start is before Christmas, because they'll get going, they'll breed, they'll establish, and then when it gets really cold in January and February, they'll slow down a bit, but you probably won't notice. And then once it's in the spring, I'll put mine right outside the kitchen door so that I can literally just pop the stuff out to the kit. In terms of what you can compost in there, it's amazing. I think it's great. So you can compost eggshells, veggie peelings, paper, cardboard, smelly waste, so even bits of fish can go in. Anything lived and died, basically. They don't like too much acidity, so if you're totally into juicing, Bryony, I don't know if you are, but if you are totally into juicing, don't overdo it with too much citrus peel or onions, something really acidic. But if you do add citrus waste, add a bit of your lime mix to sort of balance it out. But they're easy to use, simple process. As somebody once said to me, you're doing nothing here. Worms eat waste. I said, oh, that's absolutely, totally true. All we're doing is we've designed a system where it's easy for them to get going, it's easy for you to look after them, it's hygienic, and best of all, you can harvest both the liquid feed and the worm casts really simply. So enjoy it. Anything else, Rob?
When are they available?
When are they available? Robert, you'll have to say this.
Well, they're available right now.
Right now! So this is our Facebook Live launch, which is our first Facebook Live ever. And as we were talking, Mr. Robert Gale pressed some magic button and made them live. So how do they find them on the Wiggly Wigglers website?
So if you go to the Wiggly Wigglers website, you can either click on wormeries in the top navigation bar, or on the homepage there's a slider that goes across with a picture. And there you go. And then it's got all the videos, information, and the 2 products to order in each colour.
Yeah, so stone, obviously, because it's a stone colour, and lime green, because obviously it's lime green. Enjoy yourselves. Have I finished?
I think so.
Thanks everyone for watching our first Facebook Live ever. If you've got any more questions, you can put comments below this post, I think.
Yeah.
You can message us, so private messages on Facebook. You can email me direct, heather@wigglywigglers.co.uk. You can phone our team, 01981 500 391. You can tweet us @Wiggles. However you want to chat, have a chat, because we think this is the best thing since sliced bread, the best thing since bread makers, and the